This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Wednesday, August the 24th. Today.
Wow, where did August go?
I know.
Crazy.
Week tomorrow's first day of September. Into the Labor Day long weekend.
I love
kids back to
September, though.
school.
I gotta be honest. I love it. There's so many wonderful things that come up in the fall. Kids are back to school.
Football
really
starts.
really feels like a fresh start. Thanksgiving's coming, the beautiful colors, and
Football starts?
I was gonna say pumpkin spice.
Oh, right.
Thank you again. Pumpkin spice arrived. Season kicked off today officially, I would say, because Tim Hortons brought back all of their drinks, their lattes, their ice caps, their donuts, their muffins, and you brought some in this morning.
I was just competitive enough that I had to have the first batch. And you know when you show up at the drive-thru at 5, you actually show up about 4:58 and everything's still dark. So you wait and you wait. And then they're open. That magical moment. The day has begun.
The clock strikes 5.
And I asked, are they truly available? And she said, I'll check. And I thought, maybe they're not.
Because it's day
Maybe
one,
they-
right?
Right,
So
maybe they show up at 8 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. She said, no, we have them. And I said, of course you are, because you're a major corporation. How many do you have? And then she started counting out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, as soon as you get to 6, I said, I'll
Half a
take a
dozen.
half dozen. Okay, toss them in the box.
it was fantastic. Thank you.
Yep, that's okay. So everybody here in the morning, so the 4 of us, we all had one.
Are there any left? Did you check?
2 more.
2 more?
Two
Okay,
more.
I
Yeah.
might have to go out and get another one.
We can split it if you think
Okay.
it's too much.
All right. I like the seeds on top.
Yeah, they're
Like,
great.
oh,
It's a good donut.
so good. So good.
So fall is
Fall is here.
underway.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it
Got our
is.
back to school shopping done yesterday
How'd
too.
you make
Well,
out on that?
I shouldn't say done because one feels he still needs a backpack. I question that. And water bottles. We got to get water bottles. But shoes off the list. It hurt a little bit. But
Okay, all right.
I wasn't alone. Holy cow. Oh, wow.
Shoes the big item.
Everywhere we went, families were just, and Ben is at, I found, that age that every child is.
oh,
He has the same foot size as every child. Do you know how hard it was to find? He was the hard one yesterday, not the one with the
because
big feet.
They're gone.
They're gone. His particular
Oh.
size, like they were, it was slim pickings yesterday for him. So he's just at that age, I guess. I don't know. But, and Nathan I have found now, of course, is in adult sizes.
I was going to say, did you go to men's shoes rather than youth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And the prices that
prices
go
are a
with
little
it.
prices are a little higher.
Yeah.
But a lot of, like, it was funny. I got talking to one mom. She's like, "Can you believe that back to school shopping already?" I said, "Oh, I know." And you have those conversations, right?
Yep,
We're
yep.
all in the same boat. But yeah, people are out. Mums are out. Mums and dads are out.
Nobody wants to go back to at-home learning, but boy, it was
No.
cheaper, wasn't it?
Didn't even need shoes.
On shoes.
You didn't even need socks, really, if you didn't want them.
Backpack? No.
No,
None
just
of
had
that
to.
stuff.
I didn't have my kitchen table for a few months, but yeah.
I read an article this morning. Now, it was American because it became political very quickly. But one of the things that said that 84% of parents learned more about what their children were learning when they had to get involved with the actual teaching
Yeah.
of it. So I guess you can casually hear it. Maybe you don't even care what your kids are learning. The kids go to school, you don't care, But then they got involved with that. And then all of a sudden, the idea of education is now an election issue.
Yeah.
For the midterms and in 2024 in the States, all of a sudden, what kids are learning
Yeah.
and what they should be learning, what they're not learning, like why aren't they teaching more? So all of a sudden, parents are getting a little bit more vocal in the education system. Good, bad, and different, but
Exactly.
all of a sudden, it's more of an issue since nobody wants to go back to it. But it's kind of interesting that we learned something.
And
about it.
it was really interesting. I kind of liked being able to sit in without having to sit in, you hear
Yeah, I
things
hear
and
it,
it's
yeah.
like, okay, because I don't know if it's a boy thing. I don't like saying it's because I have sons, but when I ask them how their day is, fine.
Fine.
And that's the extent. So it was kind of nice to have that insight
Yeah.
to see what was going on.
Same
Exactly.
old, same old.
It was okay.
Then you have a parent-teacher interview and
Okay.
you find out something remarkable that they didn't even
Why
tell
didn't you tell me about this?
Yeah.
Like, So it was nice to have that insight, but I could see how it could go the other way too.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, why aren't you doing this? Or why? And parents becoming maybe too involved.
That's why I mean,
Yeah.
good, bad, and different.
Yeah.
People get their backs up or something, but, becoming a little bit interested, and that's cool.
But there again, back to school shopping, another I hate to say it, but another cost
Yeah.
that is coming up. And we touched on that a little bit this morning about how people are feeling the pinch.
Yep. And they're no longer calling it inflation. The average Canadian, well, I shouldn't say the average Canadian, but the big buzzword come out is we've hit upon greedflation. Most people believe that this is not a normal function of the economy, that inflation is a part of an economy and deflation and recessions, like those are normal things that happen in a global economy. A lot of people have said there is really no economic reason why I should have to pay 20% more for that, why bacon should be $9.
I can't say I disagree.
Yeah,
it's incredible how things have jumped.
Explain to me why gas had to be $2 a liter when Exxon in the United States was posting a story saying
record profits
we've ever had. Well, then why don't you run it to break even, and then you can bring gas prices down? Nope, don't want to do that. Greedflation, they were saying.
Well, and we saw it even during the pandemic, really early on. I referenced the toilet paper, but do you remember the hand sanitizer? There were people in the States hoarding the hand sanitizer and selling it out of their garage. So what you could get for maybe $1 or $2 prior to the pandemic was now going online for $40.
Yeah.
That, when something that you need at that time, everyone needed it or thought we needed it. And to have it jump like that, it really was, I'd say, insight into how things have gone since. It's happened everywhere.
So why are we shocked now that we're, sort of hopefully on the downside of the,
I hope.
Why are we so shocked that we're still paying so much more when it happened throughout? They just haven't gone back to the way it was.
Do you think it will?
I don't know, because I said about gas prices, and I hope I'm wrong. Oh my gosh, I so want to be wrong. We kept buying it.
Well,
and if it's supply and demand and it's a free market economy, if everybody's going to buy the same amount of gas at $2, it's our fault it costs $2.
Well, and now it's down to $1.59 and everybody's like, oh, did you see the price of gas? They're excited.
Now we're normalizing
and again,
$1.59.
It's that feeling of, but that's still not okay.
I know.
That's not realistic. That's not sustainable for a lot of people, myself included, who has to commute.
Yep.
That's a huge cost increase for me, even at $1.59.
Yep. But, and I'm not saying it's free market economy, so.
Certainly. But I do wonder if it will go down and if it'll go down a lot.
Yeah, hope it will.
Yeah.
Hope it will.
Not just gas, but everything.
Everything will get down to normal stuff. So 56% of Canadians say that they are struggling to keep up with the inflation, interest rates going up, tightening the belt. 80% said discretionary spending is right under the microscope.
Yeah.
What else has happened here? 40% of Canadians are going to drive less and delay a major purchase. 32% have canceled any and all plans for vacations this year, which includes going into the wintertime. Quarter of them have opted to scale back on charitable donations. Double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
Fewer people giving, more people need it. That's the double-edged sword.
Yep.
19% they will defer their contributions to their tax-free savings account or their RRSPs. So they're spending all of their money. They were fortunate enough to be able to have savings.
Yep.
Now savings, and as part of that too, savings are now being liquidated. So that rainy day has arrived. And they're kind of sad about it, but thank heavens they have some of that. And then they talked about that scenario. What if we gave you $5,000? Just fell out of the sky. What would you do with it? 10% said, I need it right now for my financial obligations. I got to either pay off a debt or it's got to get used for my mortgage or whatever. So thank you for the $5,000. I'm spending it right now. 38% said they would spread it out for a long-term need. 43% said that they would save the money. And 9% would go out and make that pricey purchase they've been holding off on, which might be a necessary one. It might be
a new appliance
that went down.
A repair on a vehicle.
Furnace, right? So you get $5,000. Right, $5,000.
Yep.
So then the opposite happened. They said, okay, instead of that, let's say you incurred something that was a $1,000, you didn't see it coming. So it was a $1,000 expense. Half said they would not be able to shoulder it. 13% say they would be in a great deal of trouble if they had to come up with $1,000. I heard that in a podcast. An economist had asked people that said, if I asked you right now to liquidate $1,000 and I gave you a month, could you do it? Like to liquidate $1,000, which means if you didn't have it yourself, could you get it from somebody? Like, could you give me $1,000 cash in a month? And over half the people couldn't do it.
In a month.
In a month.
Yeah.
And,
it would be tough.
You know, could you go to your parents for $500 and a friend, whatever? Like, could you do it in a month? And the economist's answer was, but what's $1,000 expense could come anytime. And that's exactly what this question is.
It could.
It's like, if you couldn't in a month, that means you couldn't today. If something happened today and you needed $1,000, and that's how tight to the blade
most people
are in this economy.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
So we thought we'd have some more fun, though, with this study that came out. Holy smokes. Would you be blank if people could see your search history online?
I would be anxious.
Anxious?
I would
Would you
anxious.
be horrified? Would you be ashamed?
Maybe a bit embarrassed.
Would you be embarrassed?
A little
would you
embarrassed.
look silly?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Study found that 17% of people would feel ashamed
Yeah.
if
I don't
friends
know why.
and family knew what they were looking up online. 40% of those would worry about sharing the thoughts of the things that they've looked. So 60% would tell you, but 40 of them might share, but they would be worried about your judgment reaction to what you would see if you saw my search history for a day.
See, and then I ask, what are you looking up that you would feel so ashamed about?
Right. And sometimes it's normal stuff.
If you like to think that it can't be accessed, anything online can't be accessed.
Yeah.
I think is a little foolish in itself.
Sure,
like, yes,
sure.
it's an informational tool. It's you can use it for a lot of things. But yeah, I don't get the shame part of it. Embarrassed, yes, because there might be a medical issue that you've Googled or a word you have to look up to explain it. But yeah, this just made me laugh a little bit.
4 in 10 don't want others to see their inappropriate history. 37% say it would reveal a side of them they don't want to share.
See, I think that's a deeper topic, I think.
But if that was 4%, okay, I've seen your Netflix documentaries of those people. But 37%?
That's a lot.
Or maybe
that
people
is a
think
lot.
maybe people think they're freakier than they are. Like that we're all have a freaky side that we just don't, not inappropriate, but just like a weird side.
Just different?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think because let's face it, nobody is 100% inside and outside the same.
Gosh,
We've
no.
all got something. So 26% say the one thing they don't want people to see that they're looking for are mental health struggle techniques.
That surprised me.
They don't want people to know they're struggling.
Even now still.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a big one.
25% is a lack of knowledge.
See, that's what I mean. And I'll admit, and this is where I would be a little embarrassed.
I don't know something.
But I do that all the time.
All the time.
All the time. If there's something I'm curious about,
Yeah.
well, type it in
But
and see what
people
it
would
is.
be embarrassed to say, you had to look that up? You didn't know that? Like they're worried about that. So they don't want anybody to know they had to look up how to tie a tie.
I've done that so many times.
I know. But some people are horribly embarrassed about not knowing that. And 50% are physical problems.
Again,
Like
the medical,
A little bit of Dr. Google on that. Who is the last person you want to see your history?
This made me laugh
And
this
the answer
morning.
is your parents. I don't care how old you are.
Don't let mom and dad see.
You don't want your mom and dad looking at your search history and saying, what are you looking up that for? 50% of us said our parents. 40% of us said our partner. 38% said friends. And 20% said colleagues. Colleagues can look it up if they think badly of me. I don't care.
Well, as you said this morning, and I agree, they already know.
They know me probably more than my parents
Than family do, yeah.
Right? Your friends that you went to high school with, they know your secrets. Mom and dad don't know. But what are some of the major things we do look up? Still, the most common is the weather. We search weather.
Oh, I do it all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
We're not embarrassed about that one.
Even away from work.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
We read the weather 20 times a morning, 25 times a morning. I'll get home. Cass like, what's going to be the
I have no
temperature
idea.
today? I don't remember.
Let me look at it.
Looking for directions, still very common.
Absolutely, yep.
Finding out the meaning of certain words.
Yes.
People talk about what does greedflation mean? I heard that in the podcast. Diagnosing a physical illness. Dr. Google.
Just get it,
You got the symptoms, so you
What
look
could
it
that
up.
be? What's that spot?
Tips about finance, where to go on vacation.
Yes.
See, none of this is embarrassing.
That's what I mean. I wouldn't be ashamed of any of those.
Right.
Or, well, I'd be, again, looking up meanings. I do get a little embarrassed about that, but I wouldn't be so embarrassed
Right.
if someone saw that I was looking at
But
it.
let's do this. Let's do this exercise, Dan.
All right.
Looking up a vacation. We just talked about the fact that we don't have money. So if you, and I'm not going to use you as an example, but if you're in a relationship, if you're in a relationship where money was tight, and you found out that your partner was looking up a vacation, wouldn't that either anger or concern you?
No.
So that's what I mean. So that's when we say we only think that you're looking up adult material if you want to hide it. But there would be things like, if I started looking up cars, it would be like, why are you looking up cars? Shouldn't we talk about if we want to go?
If anything, it would make me feel bad because I would know that financially we couldn't take this vacation. Clearly, they want to if they're looking it up. Or maybe they're going to surprise us, which would then get me a little excited.
Yeah. Even though you couldn't afford it.
Even though we couldn't afford it.
But that's what I mean. So it's sort of like, there's not, I
wouldn't feel, they wouldn't, and they shouldn't be embarrassed for looking it up or ashamed.
Best places to eat was on there, but asking about sex advice. If your partner found out that you were looking that up, that's a conversation starter.
That's a conversation, yes.
Unless it was something that you've already discussed and you just don't know the answer to.
Yeah, then I think that's good on them for taking the initiative.
And the best places to drink.
That's one.
That's on there.
Like drink water? Or
any place that sells it's a great place too.
That one made me laugh. I thought, really? Okay. That one you might be a little embarrassed about or ashamed.
I have read an article though about what your friends are supposed to do when you die. And the first thing your friend is supposed to do is erase your
social media presence?
Yeah, and your laptop history. A good friend they know. Just get in there.
So mom and dad don't see it.
Get rid of it. Because you just don't want anybody to know how you spent your life looking up things, that weird kinky side of yours.
But there again, there you go. That's what people automatically assume.
But that's what people think about themselves that they don't want people to know. That's why I think a lot of us, I think that let's put it like me. It's a podcast. So let me say this. I don't think we're as deviant as we think we are. Well, we look up weird things or things that we're curious about.
Well, and quite honestly, I would be more embarrassed or ashamed of the fact that someone saw that I was looking up the latest news on Harry Styles.
Yeah.
If they saw Harry Styles in my that would embarrass me. That's I guess where my mind goes. I get what you're saying. Most think it's the kinky sexual side for most people, but it's
not.
It's not.
The word fantasy is huge in my search history. And after that word comes the word football. It's fantasy football. All right now, pumpkin spice and getting ready for football season. That's all. But as I told you, funny story. I couldn't even fool my wife with my search history.
No,
because
she would know.
I bought something on Amazon last year for Christmas. I tell you that 2 years ago. And the email address is the family one. So not only did she know what I ordered for Christmas and said nothing until June of the following, 6 months later, anything you look up online now, she gets an email saying, hey, you were looking up more garden hose. So she knows what I would even look up.
Why am I seeing these ads, Mark, for garden hoses?
Yeah, for garden hoses. So, and she'll say to me, oh, were you looking at whatever's around? Well, we got talking about, I wanted to see how much they were. I wasn't going to order. But if you go on Amazon to see the price of some, even if you do want to know, how much are they? Should we get that? Or is that a reasonable thing?
Yeah. Or shows you other things like it.
Yeah. So she gets emails. So she's like, I know everything you see online because of that. And I couldn't even accidentally, look up something without her knowing. And that makes me you're reaching for your phone oh my gosh, oh no.
I pulled up Google here on my work computer if you want to see the searches I've had. And then I can share with you what's on my phone if you want. Okay, these aren't me. These are just trending.
Right. Of course they're not.
I was like, what? That's not. I didn't.
Pumpkin spice cologne for men. What?
Tim Hortons has flatbread pizzas too.
Okay.
Where's the search on here? But if you were to look for at the search history on the Google page here.
Yeah.
So at work, and this is all this morning. I'm looking at it going, this is from 6 until 9 this morning. So Lord of the Rings trailer, which I talked about in the Pulse, Canada Comic Con, Toronto Fan Expo, which could all go together.
Right.
Tom Brady, greetings and salutations. U.S. convert to Canadian. So I was
Convert to
looking.
Canadian, right,
I was
when we
looking
talked about the water with
yes,
Jimmy.
and how much it costs to raise children now. I did the conversion between the two countries. So yeah, like all of this makes total sense. But anybody who comes on, they're like, "Wow, what's charity?"
I got Tim Hortons pumpkin donuts.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice. People are embarrassed by their search history. I wanted to look up that
Weird,
article.
yeah.
Echoism. I saw that word this morning. What is echoism? It's the opposite of narcissism. And I thought it's pretty deep conversation for our morning show, but I wanted to look it up. I thought that's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Then top movies and top songs of a particular year that are coming up for our Monday Morning Mystery year. And then Hospice Quiddy, because they've got that great thing coming up, an event on the way on September 24th for a car rally. So that's the stuff I was looking at. But again, this is at work. I don't know what I had going on.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to find my history here.
But anyway, it's kind of interesting. So you need one friend whose job it is, if you pass away before they do, to clear your search history and put a drill through your laptop and then drop it off somewhere and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. So, but it's pretty funny.
It is
pretty funny stuff this
yes.
morning. Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, getting set for our Throwback Thursday tomorrow. King songs.
Yes, so excited about this.
For
The
Burger
Elvis
Revolution.
Festival coming up in Tweed this weekend. So we kind of threw around the idea of playing Elvis songs, but we thought, let's do King. Let's feature
The
some
King.
King songs. So I went with Go West, King of Wishful Thinking.
I got the Police and King of Pain.
So you can vote on those through our Facebook and Instagram pages, and we will play the winning song tomorrow after the 8 o'clock news.
Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll get back at it again tomorrow morning. Mark and Charity Mornings here on 95.5 Hits FM. Have a great day.